Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Market Check, brought to you by BB. There is no second best live YouTube stream to talk about the markets. Welcome back, guys. Happy Thursday. One day removed from FOMC. We're going to talk about everything that Jerome Powell said yesterday, what it means for the market, and obviously how the market has reacted, not just in the wake of the event, but also today as well. But first, I'm Snorlax. You guys also know me as Tommy. I'm joined by Max, Chef Jackus, Tucker, and of course, Louis. Got a full cast and crew for you today. So we're going to cook. Yeah, we're going to cook. We're going to have a great show. Before we can get into the generational alpha, though, you guys are going to have to hit that like button for us. Let's run it up. I threatened soybeans earlier this week. You never know. I might threaten it again today. It's up to you to determine whether or not that is an empty threat or whether or not you actually have to see soybeans. Let's hit the like button, guys. We're going to have a great show for you today. But I'm seeing some weakness in crypto. Equities are, they're red, right? I think at one point they were close to minus 1% to the downside yesterday, but they have been much stronger than crypto. Man, I can only make that joke so many more times before you guys are going to want to just like throw me off the edge of a cliff. But unfortunately, the market keeps giving me that material, so I'm just going to keep. I'm going to keep cooking with it. Unfortunately, but
we'd never throw you off the edge of a cliff. We would never do that to you.
I think the guy who came out so hot yesterday might want to throw me off the edge of a cliff. That's probably why, honestly.
He just came in with, "Can Tommy shut the fuck up?" or something.
I think he's sick of the joke, but
relax.
What can you say? There's been obviously like this continued divergence between crypto and equities, and yeah, we have to ask the question like every day, which one is leading, lagging? That relationship we know is going to really define the next huge trending move, whichever direction that might be. But lower time frame, Bitcoin down about 3%, ETH about 4 or 5%. ETH has been a lot stronger than Bitcoin, right? So we have been kind of talking about, well, if the market's going to move higher, ETH Bitcoin should continue to move up. If the market's moving lower, ETH Bitcoin should probably move down. We've seen this, I think, general level of strength for altcoins against Bitcoin really over the last few weeks. That's not to say that altcoins have necessarily been like incredibly strong against USD, but ETH Bitcoin did make a big move relative to where it had been consolidating since like the beginning of November. But really, I think since October 10th, you have seen this general altcoin outperformance. What does that mean for the market, guys? We'll talk about it on today's show. But as we were saying yesterday, I think that we'll still be able to discern a considerable amount of signal from things like Solana, leading altcoins like Hyperliquid, Zcash, and everything else in between. But how are we doing, guys? What are we thinking about the current state of the market? I know I didn't touch on what Powell said at all, so maybe we open the floor, can talk about what was discussed yesterday during FOMC, what it means for the market, and obviously anything else in between.
Well, I don't know. I feel like Powell said nothing that important. I listened to little parts of it, but I don't know.
I'm not going to pretend like I listened to even a single second.
I didn't either. Yeah.
I listened to part of it, and it was just like, here's the problem is like they'll ask him a question, and then he looks down and reads his response off of, like a piece of paper for a lot of it. It's just like, we're not really getting anything. But for me, FOMC always has to do a lot more with the positioning of the market going into it, and it's just used as, kind of a whipsaw event. So, yeah, it's pretty clear. Like we were talking this morning, and we talked yesterday on the show. There was a lot of long speculation and like active long positioning leading into FOMC. Few days building up to it, there was a lot of longs coming in. The indexes, all the major indexes, the NASDAQ, the S&P, the Russell, And then also Bitcoin had quite a bit of long speculation as well. There was a lot of longs that really needed price to move higher in a big way. And I mean, I was somewhat optimistic that perhaps crypto could pump a little bit more here. I've been saying I don't think the bottom is in, but I've been somewhat cautiously optimistic that we can get a rally. And I think how things resolved yesterday with all of the effort that was put in to push Bitcoin and ETH higher to be met with, sell-off that we had, to me is saying this is a shallow dead cat bounce that is going to resolve in further capitulation before a resolution. If they can't, I mean, there was $500 million in long delta that came in the week leading up to FOMC for Bitcoin above 91K, and all of them are underwater now. And we are in BART season. And I think that BART season really means one thing. You're coming to like the end of a range, right? The big question is, which way does that range break? Given the amount of effort that was put in to push Bitcoin higher here, I find it now a lot less likely that we actually squeeze up to like 98 or 100. I don't really see that as super likely because I think there was so much effort put in to get us to 94 and a half, and it was just immediately rejected. So yeah, I really do not like what I'm seeing with crypto. I think we can kind of continue to chop around here for a bit, but I think you're going to get a resolution here. We've been talking. I made a video on my Monday video, 10-minute max video. I was saying I don't think this is what a bottom looks like. We were talking yesterday on the show about how potentially offsides a lot of, NASDAQ and S&P 500 speculators are. I think you're going to get a resolution, personally.
Yeah. This doesn't help Bitcoin's case either.
You saying resolution, Max? I know it's completely unrelated. It made me think about Les Grossman and Entropic Thunder about binding resolutions.
Yeah, that was you for a while, Tommy. You're back. I mean, you could maybe bring it back. I'd be in favor.
You guys remember the Resolute Desk?
Great movie.
Great film. Louis gets it. What film is it, Louis?
Was it National Treasure?
Nick Cage, baby. Yes. It was. This dude keeps asking for Bitcoin versus silver, man. It's ugly. I pulled it up before. It's
you want a spoiler alert? Bitcoin versus anything looks terrible right now.
Yeah, look at that, bro. That is not good.
Bitcoin might look good against Sol. Sorry.
I think if you just invert the chart, then it would look a little better.
I bet Bitcoin looks good against something like hype.
Yeah, potentially that. Yeah. Well, okay. Bitcoin versus shitcoin's fine. Okay, you got me. But Bitcoin versus anything that's real, no.
So Bitcoin looks bearish against the dinosaurs, Max?
Well, how could it be real against something that never existed, Tommy?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't look bottomed against at least the S&P here. Like,
I mean, that's going to 220. Like, why would that not go to 220?
yeah.
That just looks like MSTR, doesn't it?
Similar. If MSDR has a chance anywhere, it's right here. If not, you're going to like $95, which would be not good.
I don't think it has a chance here. I showed you guys yesterday the delta profile on it. There was so much longing happening on MSTR right here at this level. We literally talked about this yesterday, and like, I'm pretty sure those buyers are already being pressured right now. So,
Damn, I didn't know it spiked all the way up here. Should have got some quotes.
wait, you're joking, right?
No, I'm serious.
I can't look at this. Look at the rally, man. I can't believe we spiked all the way up there.
No, I remember it was at like 150, and then I guess it did get all the way up to 200. If I knew it was at 200, I probably would have bought some puts. Honestly, would have been nice. That's a nice little rally, though. Look at this. I mean, that's the 27% rally. That's more than, I guess. Actually, I don't know. I was gonna say that's more than we can say for Bitcoin, but it's actually probably not true. What did Bitcoin rally? 16, yeah. MSTR. Premier. Yeah, I don't know about this.
I mean, that looks not bullish. Bro, look at that. It's a bear
you don't
flag.
want to own the discounted Bitcoins, Anon, that are debt financed?
I could see this resolving with like another BART to the upside to retest like 91 or something. But dude, I don't think you can escape this pattern, honestly.
Yeah, I don't either.
I just don't see how this is gonna like. How does this structure resolve with like 100K Bitcoin from here? I don't think I've ever seen anything like that in all of my hours of chart time.
I think so many people. I think that 100 psychological mark served the upside, but once broken, I think everyone now, like, that's the place everyone wants to short or exit their longs. And I just feel 100K won't be touched for that reason. What do you think?
I agree with you. I think it was a really crowded idea to have like a 2022 style shoulder that extends for like 90 days and rallies 50%, and everybody wants to see 98 to 103. And I think when you get that kind of crowded thinking, I think one of two things happens: either you front run it by a lot, or you overshoot it and everybody was wrong on the short idea. And at this point, I mean, this does not look like a structure that wants to overshoot the consensus target of 98 to 100. This looks like the former, right? This looks like the monster front run of, all right, I'm finally cautious. I'm finally bearish now. Let me short, 98 to 100. And this to me is feeling more and more like a front run than anything.
Yes. It does, not to mention how many times we have rejected from the yearly open. When you actually look at BTC, the only level that was respected here is the yearly open.
Tucker, can you draw out the January 1st open?
Yeah.
Because that is really significant. I've been watching that too, Jackus. Locally, we have rejected from it perfectly so many times.
What is it, right in here somewhere? Hang on.
Make sure you got the correct side of the candle.
The yearly open was here, right? Yeah.
Yes. So now zoom in on it. You can see that there is concrete wall. Start the buses.
God, yeah.
Start the buses.
Dude.
It's just
That's not good.
no.
It's even
Dude,
if
the
you're gonna
amount of
go on
long-
H4, you'll see even more reactions on H4.
The amount of long delta that came in above the yearly open too, to try to long a breakout just to get stuffed. Bad, bro. Really bad.
Yeah.
But I think we could still like I don't think it's out of a question to deviate the yearly open still above for a little. And I think the best bearish signal probably would be like deviate the yearly open above and then lose it again.
Yeah.
Like if that happens, just
I feel like that was this, bro.
Yeah, I don't.
Yesterday.
No, I mean deviate like with closes above, right? Like spend like 3-5 days above, and then lose it. But yeah. This easily could have been it. It could have, like, the strength, as Max said, the strength is really not there in the market.
How's old XRP looking? Do we have thoughts?
Oh man. That I mean, that structure on XRP for like the last 1 to 2 months looks a lot like what we were kind of discussing for Pepe yesterday, right? Or some of these other altcoins that are maybe like structurally where ETH was in mid 2022.
Brad will save it. Don't worry, guys. Trust me. Brad will save this chart. He'll do it. Brad will save it.
I said
Is what I would never say.
I said this in our Discord, but I still think that Sol is way more vulnerable than XRP. Like, I'm not saying XRP is not, but I think that the downside on Sol is much bigger, and the floor is pretty much the same, but just lengthier on Sol. Because XRP pumped in November 24 versus Sol that pumped in 2023.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, if Sol loses like 120, it's going down.
I still think that Sol, not 120, like for Sol, it's really like 112, 113 level.
Yeah,
that's where it can still hold. But if you're gonna lose that April low, you're going back home.
Where's home,
Jackus?
I think it's more like specific, bucks, right?
I'll leave that to everyone's imagination where the home is.
I think I have no imagination. I need very, very specific numbers.
I'll let others shine with this.
I think Sol's going to $40, man.
Tommy's so bullish.
I'm sorry, Sol is going back to single digits. That's a joke for the record. That's like an ancient callback to market check lore. But no, yeah. I think it makes sense for Sol to go to like $40.
Single digits, man. Wish I'd bought Sol at $8.
I got pretty close, man. We were like 15% away at one point.
Yeah, what do we make of IWM just sending and everything else just not? I was talking to Wabi about this last night, like at like midnight. He
pillow talk with Wabi at midnight.
Yeah. He was like, "What do you think?" And I was like, "I don't know. Like, everything looks pretty bad. Like the fact that we sold off FOMC is pretty bad." And he was like, "But IWM," and I was like, "IWM apparently hasn't mattered in like 5 years, like as much as we think it matters. Like, I don't know, dude. I don't want to ignore it because it's like it is, ripping and breaking out, but
IWM is respecting fundamentals and crypto is not. Let me tell you that.
Yeah. I will say it's kind of funny though. It's almost like oxymoronic in a sense that, we've been looking for IWM to lead to a crypto breakout and crypto is dumping, but IWM is breaking out because the most unprofitable companies are the ones pushing it higher. I just find that to be incredibly funny. Just because it's like, oh, crypto's new adoption cycle, you would think leads to more IWM correlation. And it's like, oh, well, actually IWM is pumping because of unprofitable companies more than the, the fundamentally sound ones. So I actually do think that divergence makes sense to that regard. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I do agree with the premise that like it makes sense that IWM is pumping on fundamentals. Every time we get a rate cut, IWM goes up.
Yeah. I don't really even have thoughts.
You just feel scammed looking at this chart. You just feel scammed, man.
Well, I'm just like clearly like crypto is plagued by something larger, which is just sad because like we've had literally every reason to, do better than we have been. And we've just been, just met with nothing but, underperformance against every major index and every company, and like there's just something systemically wrong with crypto, and there has been for a long time, and that's become pretty clear. So I don't know, I guess good for IWM. It's just clearly this time is different in the worst of fucking ways for crypto. So
Yeah.
Well, we are. I think I honestly, I think what it is it's like, I know fundamentals are bullish long term, but it's like we want prices to be inefficient, because that creates what makes crypto great, which are these super inefficient moves to reprice us above or below fair value, right? You don't ever want to be priced like right at fair value, or else your volatility dies up.
Yep, it's a good point.
True.
Just
I think lots of people didn't understand you, Tommy, what you just said, but I see what you said, so I agree.
Make crypto speculative again.
Make it.
No, I think I don't think crypto needs more speculation. I think again, what crypto needs is people to believe so that they could put their funds in. Like they need to know that they can just. I think people are okay with like, hey, I'm gonna place my money into this and that or that. But hey, like in 5 years, I want to see something, right? And I don't think people see that. All people see really from the outside is just exactly right now IWM at new all-time highs, crypto down. They just see, useless coins literally being launched.
Literally,
one after
coins are
one.
useless.
Exactly.
Get it? Because it's a joke about coins. Sorry.
So no, it's fine. So yeah, I think again what the space needs right now is people to believe, and it needs less scam and more trust. That's about it. Like in every prior cycle, people believed. I was like lately thinking, right? Like so many of the crypto traders, right? Like what the fuck? I mean, why not occasionally, right? But like you can trade Forex. There isn't a better, more liquid market than Forex. But this industry used to be about like the, what is behind it. Like whether it was obviously BTC, but even other stuff, that people believed in. Whether there was in some parts Litecoin, obviously things change after, right? Like people saw value in Monero, they still do. And then they saw it in other stuff too. And I think there is stuff that has value, but like you wanna hold the asset for, and at least I did, or I still do, but like I did mainly for what BTC represented when I joined here. I was like, yeah, like this is what is needed. I like it. I want to hold it. I didn't want to just speculate on the price. Obviously, everyone wants to speculate. Every investor is a speculator too, right? You still like you have some thesis, but you're still speculating on the price, and that's natural. But the space cannot be just speculation, is what I'm saying. There still needs to be, value behind. And right now, and especially the cycle, is just being like, yeah, everything is a scam. Everything is just a ticker. It's never been like that before. So that needs to change. And I said, CZ said, super cycle maybe in 2026, and I was saying, yeah, the only super cycle that should happen is truly the delist season.
Yeah.
CZ winked after the super cycle. Wing, wing. Or like, after it doesn't play out. Oh, I had my fingers crossed behind my back. You just didn't see.
Louis Meatstick, I want to hear your voice. Talk to me. Anything.
I don't know. Yesterday, for me, more so on the equity side. Yeah, I mean, we saw a move up in crypto, but yesterday to me, on the the FOMC rate cut and everything that was kind of mentioned in that meeting yesterday, I've never really seen so much of a full-on bullish free trade to the upside, like we're going to Valhalla kind of sentiment in equities in a while, right? We've been in a pretty raging bull market in equities. We got the meeting yesterday. We got the rate cut with really no promise of rate cuts moving into next year yet. I don't know. It felt yesterday felt like a real bull trap to me, unless they continue to melt equities up, which is always possible, right? They can continue the scam going. They can continue melting it higher. For me, I've never seen sentiment and so much sureness and confidence in bulls as far as equities are concerned than I did yesterday. Yesterday, it was very glaring to me. And maybe that's just me because I have had more of a leaning bias to the downside in equities over the last couple of weeks. But yesterday definitely felt that way to me. So we'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens. We'll see if they can keep the scam going, keep melting equities to the upside. But yesterday it felt like a trap to me. And I'm still very cautious. And that's kind of the canary in the coal mine for me, which is why I've been cautious as far as getting positioning back into the crypto market is the equities, right? We've historically seen a follow-up trade to the downside from equities when we see Bitcoin drop more than 20%. Like 4 out of the 5 times in the last 5 years when Bitcoin falls 20% or more, equities lag about a month or two and then also follow to the downside, right? So that's something still a data point that's glaring at me that many aren't, at least in the equity market, aren't really worried about. So I'm still looking for that downside move in equities. So we'll see if we get it. We'll see if we get it. But the IWM finally chatting to the upside with all of this does have me, is giving a little mixed signals, right? Because that's something I've talked about a lot as a bullish signal for crypto, obviously not playing out right here, right now. But I think it does say what is to come. If we do get this roll catch-up trade in the equity markets coming out of that, I still am in the belief that altcoins, at least the right altcoins, will have room to run. And maybe that Russell sector of the equity markets may have time to lead coming out of it. But I still think a melt up from here doesn't make much sense. I think a drop and then a melt up makes more sense. So kind of what I'm looking for here. And if they prove me wrong and they melt it up, then I get back into the market. But right now, still cautious. Still cautious.
And Louis, kind of expanding off that idea of like a further drop and then a melt up kind of pairs perfectly with what Tommy was saying, where like when crypto is sort of perceived to be at its fair value, whether you determine that emotionally or off its cost of production or however you want to determine that, when the market consensus is that, it's like a gnat in my office, when the market considers crypto to be at relatively fair valuations, then volatility dies. If we see crypto kind of underpriced, that can usually fuel that reflexive frenzy to the opposite side, right? And maybe then we get finally a recoupling with US small caps from a position of being undervalued. But right now, it kind of seems like crypto is not being perceived as undervalued here. So there's not an appetite to buy it because it's not at a discount, right? So perhaps what we actually need to go higher is more pain first, going again, kind of tying it together with what Tommy was saying, like, bring back, I don't know what you said, Tommy, like bring back, more price speculation, right? Let's see crypto in a position of being sort of undervalued and see what we can do from there, right? And that's actually typically like the biggest moves typically come after you know, like the worst volatility ever, right? Like the largest liquidations, it's over, horrible price action, right? I think we kind of need to rip the Band-Aid off, personally.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. And if we do get that roll in equities, we're going to get a big sentiment shift, right? Where anyone in crypto, any bulls left, will, you know, which I think honestly most are gone, right? Then they'll really, really be out of the market. You have equity bulls starting to flounder, question the melt up thesis. And then coming out of that, you know, what most wouldn't expect is a hard rally out of the riskiest, more high beta assets. So, you know, it could be setting up for a strange, unlogical, but surprise to the market, to the upside, but still looking for the downside first, right? Because if everyone's looking at the equity markets rolling, who's in their right mind is going to think about bidding the high beta risk assets, you know, into that kind of role, right? Not many. And maybe that's the biggest scam and trick of it all here.
What do you guys think about the developments with FOMC yesterday? I know we haven't really touched on it, but you know, I think Louis, you talked about how it could be a bull trap. It seems like they're going to be buying treasuries, right? The Federal Reserve, Bessent said they're buying treasuries as well. I was kind of taking note of, I mean, TLT hasn't really rallied off this news. It still looks pretty weak to me. But this is kind of like how we've been doing QE that's not really QE. They buy the treasuries. There's more liquidity, more reserves for banks. Long end yields go down, and you know the market goes up. But right now, what I find interesting. I don't think they're going to be able to suppress the 10-year yield using this method anymore. At least I don't know if they're going to be able to, because I think TLT looks so weak, and at a certain point, it almost feels like the market is calling their bluff a little bit. Because it's, you know, they're buying these treasuries to lower long end yields. And at the same time, the Fed is telling us that they're revising growth expectations higher. So it's almost like two directly contradicting ideas. Do we have any thoughts on what Powell said yesterday? Do we have any thoughts on it being QE, not QE, anything in between?
I will say this. There's a couple guys that I follow that can interpret it better than me, that were not really, how do I put this? They were kind of like, this is not as the public is going to perceive it. Like, this is not actually QE at all, like kind of calling the bluff on it. But I don't know. I would kind of defer to those opinions personally, but.
Micro Sailor is just PogChamp with the little puns there all the time.
He cracks me up, man.
Guys, what about the fact that silver is going parabolic and your boomer is outperforming you once again?
Boomers are related, man.
I'm just glad I've become a little bit more boomerish than before. Listen, the chart of the day, depending or, yeah, the chart of the day. First, this is absolutely insane.
Oh my God. Looks like Monroe's future.
Yeah, and look at this. BTC USD versus silver. I'm not sure you are ready for this, guys. Are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready. Play on me, Jackus. No homo.
Look at this.
Oh.
Totally KO'd.
Oh. God. Man, Jackus, that looks like a chart that we've been comparing to Bitcoin off screen, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, it's at levels it's been in October 2023 right now, or it's at levels it's been at in January 21. It's insane. Look at that.
Jeez. Because silver.
That looks so fucking bad. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that doesn't look good, man.
I mean, it just looks so horrific. The worst chart I've maybe ever seen.
It doesn't look much better on BTC Gold either, but like the BTC silver pair is just something else.
Like it will, that pair looks like it's destined to actually go below the last bear market low.
It does. There is definitely like this level is definitely strong. But if it doesn't hold it, then I think this one is next. So yeah, but the question is how much of it is going to be silver and how much of it is going to be, or like how much of it is going to be silver strength versus how much is it going to be Bitcoin, going down sideways or up. But yeah, boomers once again winning. No opportunity for Gen Z and millennials. You are stuck in buying these. The best I can do is minus 90% after minus 90% after minus. Again, the best thing that can happen is a massive delist season here. I think it's good that lots of these old charts have lost their basis, their all-time basis, like EOS. I think Polkadot here also looks abysmal. The best case is if they start to delist these, really. Like, what's the point in having this on your exchange now? It just divides the liquidity. You want it to concentrate in quality and restart. So like, yeah, there was a case for this to maybe hold, but it clearly hasn't, right? And it's just gonna perma bleed into a delist.
I almost feel like people need to be told what the fundamental assets are at this point, Jackus. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I think some people are just going to be holding things like Atom and Near, and well, I guess some people would argue that Near is a little bit different, but like things like Atom and Harmony, they're probably and like Crypto.com token. Some of these things, I feel like people are just going to hold to zero forever because they think they know better than the market.
Yeah, well, again, I suppose lots of people, I think this is a good discussion. I think what lots of people sort of expected from centralized exchanges is to do that due diligence and list only, maybe not like only the solid stuff, but like most of it, right? And they failed to do so. And that's why I say what the space needs is just a massive delist season. And for the exchanges to sort of do that due diligence and only list, not where they can generate the most fees, but what is the quality, right? Obviously, because quality, as you said, some people look at Polkadot and say it's a quality and so forth. So obviously not it's subjective, obviously. But I think like objectively you can say where quality is. You can say what protocols are bringing in revenue, right? You can obviously debate the tokenomics of the underlying token, and lots of projects have done great work or bad work on that part, or like no work. But so I think objectively you can say that with some, but I still think that the retail mind simply needs to rely sort of on the third parties, and I think exchanges should step into that role of and I think it would be a bullet. Like, I think there is a bullish case for some exchange that is just going to do this part for the retailer, just like only list few good stuff, like if you were to only list few of it and capital can concentrate, but the retail man can be like, yeah, this is my exchange, they pick the right stuff, and like, all right, maybe I've picked not the best one, but like, hey, they don't have really like shit there that I just buy. So I don't know, it's just a few thoughts of mine. It's a friendly discussion, so
It needs to be done.
yeah.
I think eventually it
Speaking
will.
of
What do you think about Coinbase stock here, Jackus?
Nothing that good, honestly.
Yeah,
At
I
least
think if
not
it can't get
locally.
back above 275, it's probably coming down to 120.
I see that long liquidity at 120. It's sticking out at me, Louis.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll probably be a buyer down there because, again, I think coming out of this last maybe plunge here and rolling equities and a final plunge for crypto, I think this still does have upside. But I think down first.
Seems like this trend line will be retested now. So I think like a good short is down to here, and doesn't have to go lower than that. This sort of seems like you can get something like this, right? I've seen that too many times, but I think it goes slower, but maybe not as low as like that. But that will depend, though, obviously. Like if crypto were to experience a longer bear market than most think, then even us, then Coinbase does work based on the fees mainly. Maybe some custody part, right? Maybe some circle. That's true. We have to like Coinbase isn't just exchange. They have circle, right? They hold. I do not know the exact numbers. Do you guys know? I think they have like 40% of circle revenues goes into Coinbase. That will be huge one day. Like that's gonna only grow as USDC adoption continues. So I don't think valuing Coinbase stock simply based on the crypto market and the fee structure is the right way. But yeah.
Yeah. I've always thought the biggest risk to Coinbase stock is maybe not like a prolonged bear market, because I do feel as though, with the growth of Circle and USDC usage, they will probably always have some level of revenue built into the business. I think the tail risk for Coinbase is that they are the primary like executor of ETF volume through like dark pools. So if there were ever a time where we see a lot of forced selling in equities during New York session, they are probably going to, I think they're going to puke really hard if that were to happen.
Look at the Circle price action, more or less. And and Coinbase. I see big correlation between the two. Maybe let me do the lows with different this. Very interesting. So technically, I think we could get a retest on circle of these lows, perhaps even lower. We'll see how low that goes. But I think both of these will stabilize somewhat like this, and then there is further upside after.
And we might have to show the soybeans chart.
Oh shit.
Take a look. Oh man, y'all better hit the like button. Or we're gonna have to pull up the soybeans. Shine called the top and dipped. Retired. I do find it pretty kind of funny that Big Sal came back like right near the top. There was some signal to that in hindsight. We love Big Sal, but we didn't see him for like 8 months, and then he came back.
There is sometimes bigger signal in these guys than in anything.
Smash them. All right, I'm gonna pull up Big Country's chart. Robinhood.
Bro, it's down 8% today. I don't even. What are we
It's down
doing?
8% today.
What? Yeah. Look at
Pretty
this.
confident that I'm early to that trade.
There was down 8%. 6 now. What are we doing?
I guess I would feel better about IWM pumping if the leading small caps from this cycle were the ones pumping, you know, like Palantir and Robinhood, and I'm pretty sure they're both pretty weak.
Mm-hmm. What's Palantir doing?
Probably pumping.
Hanging out.
Somewhere Michael Burry is staring at the 1 minute Palantir chart. I just know it.
For sure.
What do we think about the rest of the Mag 7 here? Because Nvidia looks terrible, right? It's down 3%.
I think they're topped. Amazon doesn't look great. Below that high.
It does look like a local one for sure.
Google looks like a parabolic top potentially. No confirmation though.
Or
Apple weekly looks pretty topped.
Oracle, man. I don't know if you guys are so here's kind of like Oracle subplot. I don't know if you guys have paid attention at all to what's been happening with Michigan football in the last like 24 hours, but David Ellison, the Oracle CEO, is basically funding that football program. I don't think he's having a very good day right now. Is anybody on the panel familiar with what's happening over there right now?
Yeah. Not good. It's not good.
It is not. Max, Louis?
No.
With what?
With Michigan football?
No, I'm not familiar.
It's pretty wild, man. It's so again, like the reason I bring this up is because the Oracle CEO, who, you know, over the last few weeks, obviously a lot of people are bringing up the fact that Oracle is a very heavily levered company. Their deal with OpenAI, entirely debt financed for these data centers, is already underwater by like $100 billion. And then to add kind of like this insult to injury, the Michigan head football coach, Sharon Moore, just got caught having an affair with a staffer after impregnating her, and he got fired for that. And his response to that was not good, guys. It was not good. He ended up crashing out and getting arrested. We'll just we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. You can look up the rest of what happened with detail. But yeah, I don't think that David Ellison is making the best investments here. Watch me close the loop there.
Jeez. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It is. And it's like one of those, it was like the Mark Sanchez story almost, where it was the more you learn, the more you're like, oh my God, how does it keep getting worse?
The Mark Sanchez, I forgot about him, bro.
Good old butt fumble.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was a Jet for a while, wasn't he, Louis?
Probably one of the best Jet quarterbacks we've had in the last 15 years. Took us to the AFC Championship twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Him and Rex Ryan.
Study Rex.
Not the Oracle CEO. What?
Is it?
I
I
think
think it's Larry. Isn't it Larry Ellison?
I'm thinking of Larry Ellison, yes.
Yeah. Who is David Ellison? I don't know who that is.
I think that's his son. Larry's wealth is building the Michigan football program.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that blow off top on Oracle does kind of feel. I mean, I know I compared it to ETH yesterday. I'm actually going to compare it to BNB today, with kind of like how it blew off and the way it seemingly wants to Christmas tree lower.
Yeah.
I'm worried about this market, guys. I'm actually not. I'm more just like, how do I size into the best shorts at the best time?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the poly market alpha is gone in terms of using it to play downside, because all the numbers that you want to use as basically options have already been hit, unfortunately. Like if you want to play downside, you have to pick like 1300 ETH, you know? Like it's
Might be a bit more taily.
at least for end of year. Yeah.
You know what I like is Coinbase puts.
Yeah. Are they priced in vol? I think the local top could be in.
The fact that it didn't squeeze higher with ETH to me was a little bit of signal.
Ooh, I like this too. I like this too.
What do you make of the fact that ETH was the only one that really squeezed in higher? Does it say like is it bullish ETH?
I don't know, man. It's either
maybe not like bullish right now, but like longer term perhaps.
I was just looking at that. I don't know if I entirely buy that it's going to hold up better if Bitcoin does take another leg down. But I do think higher time frame, you might be onto something that when things do bottom out and we do see a recovery, I would expect it to be led by ETH, just given how ETH BTC looks. And then also like Sol ETH, all the ETH pairs, I think, are set up mostly for higher. But that doesn't mean that you're going to receive USD insulation, you know. But I think you can short Sol and Bitcoin or something, you know, at the right time, and then try to buy ETH, you know, at like 2K or just under. And that's probably a really great shove if things work out. Or
What do you think about Krenecki comment?
They don't know me, son.
You think you've adopted the darkness? I was born in it, molded by it.
I don't know. I just feel like everybody's really like confident we're gonna bottom here. I'm just not so convinced personally.
That depends who you ask, though. Like, I just don't like using sentiment because I would say right now, objectively, it's divided. But you're gonna ask Will, he will tell you, or anyone, he's gonna tell you, or like many people, right? They'll tell you everyone's bearish. You're gonna ask, you just said everyone's bullish. That can be really both ways, depending on who you ask, who is their feet. I would say objectively the market's pretty split here, like 50-50. So
Yeah, you're probably right. I think it just is like we all follow different people and like collect social sentiment different ways.
yeah.
I would say where I'm deriving that from is just a lot of people, I think not everybody, but a lot of people are here. I don't even mean to call you out here. Like I don't mean to pick on you. I'm just saying I think there's a lot of people that have the same thought. And I think in some regard you're right. I think a lot of stuff is probably already floored out or like, front ran majors dumping. I just don't know how confident I am that like Bitcoin doesn't clean up these lows. I just am not. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure about it. Like that doesn't mean I wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin at 91 or maybe even like BART to 92 and then back down or something. But I just mean like in terms of cleaning up like the high time frame structure, I would be a little bit surprised at this point. I feel like it would be very atypical to, just see Bitcoin like completely V recover from here. But again, I'm happy to be wrong on that. Like that's fine. It just feels
The
feels like
bottom
there
is
was
not
a
in until exchanges admit they did wrong and do a massive delist season.
okay, so never. Bottom's never in.
Sentiment is whatever fits my bias.
Yeah.
I do agree with that statement, Max. It's like I kind of tweeted something along these lines earlier this week. It's the most dangerous thing you can tell yourself as a token holder is that you're okay with any amount of drawdown because you think a majority of it is over. That's what people in 2021 told themselves after altcoins went down like 50 to 60% into the early spring. And you know what happened? And as we headed into the summer, altcoins went down another 80 to 90%. So I think you need to have you need to understand yes, the fundamentals for the asset class are phenomenal. But most of these tokens in crypto don't have any reason for people to be bidding them going forward. We are watching a large scale regime shift within markets where the wheat is being separated from the chaff. And I think you need to understand that. Will that stop people from holding their favorite tokens? Absolutely not. But it's an unfortunate side effect. I do think as we clean up these tokens, most of the things that have gotten crushed and will get crushed more, they're probably not going to come back, right? Unless you have like a cult following, unless it's a mechanical buyback system like a hyperliquid or a revenue generating asset. Most of these things, if they drop again, you shouldn't expect to break even at current prices. It's just like, it's a risk. But it's a risk that a lot of, I feel like crypto participants in particular feel like they can withstand until we get to the bottom. And then it's like, well, now I'm just a permanent bag holder.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Mr.
that.
Depp, your coins are down minus 95%. Have you ever considered selling? No, it's a no. I can't. If you know
I
what
just
mean.
remember in 2021, like I was married to this DeFi token because it had made me a lot of money. I round tripped the whole thing, and I ended up selling. Like I said, I literally round tripped basically the entire thing. Might have even ended up losing money at the end, but I had to like really work hard to bring myself to sell that token. And with that money, I was able to make it all back in the second half of 2021. So the story has a positive ending. But if I had held that token instead of trying to like play the second half of 2021 narratives, that token I think that token's literally like worthless right now. So I would be down 99% from where I thought I was selling a bottom.
The dip, what you think is the dip, the actual dip, and then the real bottom.
Man, I didn't mean to silence the panel.
No, you didn't. I'm just distracted looking at some plays.
Same. Well, the S&P just backfilled its gap down over after hours. So I think it's decision time soon. Is it going to hold on to it, these highs? Or is it going to roll? Yeah.
Volatility incoming. Are there any tokens that look like strong?
No.
Strong. You said strong. Only Monero.
I'm looking at my watch list right now. It's full of red. I guess Luna's been strong.
Luna.
I'm not sure how to feel about that.
It's a great sign. Don't worry.
Are you not bullish on the market when Luna 2.0 was pumping?
Jesus.
Luna 2.0 is pumping. You're taking profits this time, right, Anon? Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up.
Hey, you know what bounced? It's up 1% today.
Sorry?
You know what bounced today?
Zcash.
Sol ETH.
Solis.
Zcash did bounce though.
I don't like that, but I think it's gonna come down again.
Sol ETH.
Sol ETH, yeah, from the low. I see.
It's not dead yet, man. You still have life. Boo. I guess we do have a lot of ETH maxis in the crowd, probably, don't we?
Tucker, Max, Louis.
Hmm.
You guys with us?
Yeah. Kinda. Doing some stuff. Market's just not doing anything, man. Like let's make a decision here. You know, what are we doing? Let's
Get ready to nuke, bro. Black Monday coming up for crypto.
Yeah.
Study the left tail.
They call him the left tail.
Left tail XBT will be his new Twitter handle.
Backside jihadist.
I was thinking about the comment of that one guy who said, like, What did he say about something like, "I'm not shorting here because prices are too low"? How many people do think that right now? I wonder.
A lot.
That's what I was saying, man. Is I just feel like a lot of people are really confident that it's just not going to get too much worse, and maybe that.
How much worse could it possibly get? Ask himself.
Yeah, you have crypto sentiment pretty much that can't get much worse. We got to be close to a bottom, which I think we are on a lot of altcoins. I think we are closer to the bottom. And you have equity investors sentiment is we're going much, much higher, So
I do like the idea of taking signal from Solana.
Yeah, I think Solana provides lots of signal. And was it you, Tommy, who said that this entire cycle it provided lots of signal? I have to agree. Which is why I say it cannot be losing 100. Lose that and it's lights out.
Finish him. Don't we have that? I think we have that.
We have a wasted one.
God, that's so good. We should use that more. We should totally use that more.
Right,
Look at
guys.
Soul.
We will take the advice of the guy who said that everything's fucked. Like button is not hitting. People are depressed, and so this is it for today. Tommy, take us out.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show on Market Check today. We didn't get a ton of volatility on the show today, but I don't think we're very far away at this point from a larger trending move throughout markets. Regardless, if you enjoyed the stream today, a reminder that we do these shows Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with a typical start time around 11:15 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So catch us again tomorrow to officially wrap up the week, but also make sure to tune in for Market Talk, hosted by the legendary King Wabi. That is an X Spaces through the Because Bitcoin account as well as King Wabi's account. So make sure to stay following and subscribe to both of those accounts so you can be notified not just when we schedule those spaces, but also when we go live. But we do have a uniform time for those spaces now. So catch us on Market Talk at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time throughout the week. Thank you guys for tuning in. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. Like I said, we will see you tomorrow. And of course, until then, thank you and stay safe.
Tired of outdated trading tools, confused charts, dozens of tabs, endless stress? You're not alone. Introducing BB Terminal, your all-in-one command center for crypto trading. Track your portfolio, monitor the markets, stay ahead, all in one place. From chaos to clarity, from struggle to success. BB Terminal.